This next game we're gonna look at, I played several years ago against a much weaker opponent. I had the black pieces and decided to play the Elephant Gambit, which is not considered to be a very good opening. Probably the most well-known game in this opening is the game between former world champion Michael Tal with the white pieces against Ludikov. I believe it was 1964, and in this game, Tal sacrifices his queen in a spectacular fashion. So if you have not seen that game, you should definitely check it out. So the game started with e4, e5, knight f3, and now the move of the Elephant Gambit, d5. Here, white can take either pawn. My opponent decided to take the queen's pawn. And after e4, white can play queen e2, but my opponent decided to go for a different line, knight e5. And here the computer likes just taking the pawn, but I decided to play bishop d6, which is playing in the typical gambit style. And after d4, knight f6, bishop b5 check, knight bd7. Here my opponent did something which a lot of beginners do, and just traded pieces for no apparently good reason. So if it's not forced or fantastic, then it's just foolish. So a better move would have been to just play c4, but he took with check, I took back, and he took again. And now if you notice, black has 3 pieces developed and white doesn't have any pieces developed. So I think black should be at least equal here. And after castling, I took the pawn. This move I don't like because it's blocking the bishop. Now here I should have played f5, which is the computer's suggestion. I decided to go for e3. Again, this is a casual game, so I didn't realize that my trap doesn't actually quite work. The idea being that if you were to take the pawn, I have a fork attacking the queen and the rook. But with the computer, you can see that this actually doesn't work because the pin on the knight is absolute. And after something like queen e6, queen e2, bishop f4, there is knight to f1, not knight to c4, which doesn't work, but this move, and white is just gonna win a piece. So after knight e4, I took with check, and here I thought my opponent should have taken with a rook. And after, say, something like castles, white could play something like queen f1, putting pressure on the f pawn. But he took with the knight, and the knight on f2 looks not very good at all. So I castled queenside. I could have castled kingside, but I didn't want to play I don't want to say a boring game, but I didn't want to play. I wanted to play a very sharp game, and well, this is the way to do it. So after queen f3, I played g5, which is a pawn sacrifice, and I think black has decent compensation for the pawn if white decides to take it, but the computer hates this, obviously. So here my opponent just blundered a piece, and he didn't see a tactic. So here, if you're a beginner, you should probably take a few seconds and see how black wins the game. So I'm going to assume that you pause the video and, well, bishop, check, and after king takes, thanks for the queen. Now my opponent did play on for a few more moves, but I mean the game is essentially over. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.